when I'm driving here, it was like, okay, Larry, it's time to get the voice. And the voice was, it's very simple. It's the connecting of the dots. It's the opportunity to do something about it. Having a choice of doing something to make myself feel a whole lot better. What the hell? Why would I not do that? What am I not? That's not. But the fact of the matter is that I didn't know what I could do. I was trapped in the dark room, you know, trying to figure out what the heck. I just don't know where to go. And if I went to my family physician, and I love her very much, she's wonderful. She's from my home state. Blah blah blah. I know friends of hers and all this stuff. But if I went to her and talked to her about this, I don't think I would get much of a response.
Well, they're not educated. They don't know it. They're not
know.
Educated for the most part in this area. Right. I don't mean not educated as a.
I know what you mean.
Right. But
not exposed.
Dr. Lee tells me all the time, I never learned one thing about supplements in medical school.
Not one thing. Not one thing about supplements. Maybe about 3 hours in the whole thing on nutrition. Maybe about 3 hours. Nothing about exercise, really, other than you need to do it. And believe it or not, even this is kind of scary. Hormones. We didn't learn very much about hormones as OBGYNs. And that's the part that really shocks people.
Particularly for OBGYN.
Exactly. You would think an OBGYN would learn a lot about hormones, but we learned a lot about the hormones that were available for prescription. And we didn't learn as much, I would say, about the hormones that are natural to our body. And how, you know, and what happens, you know, what hormones we lose, when we lose them. You know, the whole idea of that we lose progesterone in the 30s and 40s, you know, and all the way on up to menopause, and then we start to really lose the estrogen. The whole progesterone thing is just completely lost on OBGYNs. They don't realize that at all.
Tell me how, like the fundamental difference between what you've learned through the anti-aging, the fellowship. Compared to medical school.
What I've learned that's so different is how to work with the hormones that are actually in our body. That's the big difference, rather than prescribing drugs. You know, the way they taught it to me before was a disease-based model. You know, you have to identify the disease, and once you've identified the disease, so you do a test and you do a history on your patient and you do a test to confirm. So, you know, I talk to a patient, she tells me she has hot flashes. I do an FSH level. That's a level that tells us that the hormones from the brain are telling the ovaries, come on, kick into high gear here, because the ovaries aren't putting out anymore. So I do that test. I confirm, okay, yes, this woman has menopausal symptoms. She is menopausal by her FSH, so I can prescribe menopausal hormones. So it's a disease-based model. It's looking for the problem and what is the script that I can write to solve the problem. What I've learned here is that there are a vast array of symptoms that are related to hormone loss, and then how to measure those hormones in detail, and then how to replace exactly those hormones that were lost in the amounts that are needed to achieve balance. And that's a huge difference. And that helps the patient with a whole global list of problems rather than maybe one problem, and then create a whole bunch of side effects actually along the way is what the medications do.
It's amazing. Amazing that you learn that and, you know, not learn that in medical school and have to go beyond.
Right. Well, it is because, I mean, truly, I think it is because the pharmaceutical companies really influence heavily what doctors do, how you prescribe, how you learn medicine, and how you practice medicine. So it's based on a medical model prescribing medicine that's available through a pharmaceutical company. And that's why you don't learn any of this other stuff, because none of it is really available through the pharmaceutical companies, and they're not even patentable because they occur in nature. There are things that are in my body already, and you can't get a patent on something that's already out there in somebody's body. And that's why there's no pharmaceutical company to say, well, this is the greatest drug ever, because it exists in nature. Nobody can make a drug, and frankly, nobody can make money on it.
That's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line.
It's awesome.
Don't even get me started.
No, I know. But
don't even get me started.
Yeah.
Preventive medicine is just so cool. No wonder there's just so many physicians flocking to it.
Yeah.
You know?
I used to work.
Because that's medicine, the way that we all wanted it. That's what we envisioned ourselves being able to do. We didn't envision ourselves as kind of technicians, like, okay, she has symptoms A, B, and C, and I have 7 minutes to write as many scripts as I can to treat A, B, and C. You know, that's not what we envisioned for ourselves as doctors. And what I'm doing now, I feel like is true healing. You know, yesterday I told a patient, she just made my day and made my year almost. I had just recently read a quote, I can't remember who it was, to have had a successful life is to have made one other person's life easier. It's a famous quote, but anyway. Cool. And just yesterday, I was like, wow, I just do that every day. And that's the greatest thing to be able to do for people. Yeah. You know, I had one lady who literally, she told me, all she did, actually I had 2 ladies who really impacted me yesterday. One told me she literally, for 6 months before she saw me, laid in bed. I mean, laid in bed for 6 months, like was that debilitated. Wow. And now she's getting out there. She almost feels like she's thinking about she could work again. And she's getting out there, she's seeing friends, she's doing things, she's going to the gym, she's exercising 4 times a week. She just can't believe the change in herself. And she said to me, and I don't even know what to tell people when they ask me what was wrong with me. Because you would expect that she had some disease, you know, she could explain to people. And she's like, so I'm not really sure what to tell them. Do I just tell them I had hormone deficiencies? And I say, yeah, that's really all you can say.
I feel so good about what you do, though.
I do.
Seriously, what a great job.
It's
to do something that really, yeah,
it is. And you know, that's what's so cool. People ask me, don't you miss OBGYN and don't you miss delivering babies and stuff? And I miss that a little bit, but the thing is, really, it was a rewarding thing to do because I could bring people their new baby, you know. Yeah. And honestly, I'm bringing people back their life. And you know what? A lot of people out there deliver babies. And a lot of people can do, you know, pap smears and all the stuff there were so many people out there who are trained to do what I was doing and do it well. And I feel like there are so few people who are trained to do what I'm doing now and do it well. And to have people come to me and tell me, I was at my wit's end, you were my last hope, and you gave me my life back. That is just huge for me. That's amazing. It's huge.
That's awesome. That really is.
And you're a part of that every day.
Yeah, no, but I applaud these doctors to work with the physicians that are so dedicated, right? Because there's a lot of, I mean, you took a lot of time, investment, and financial investment, to go learn this field of medicine.
Yeah, well, it was
to change your whole. I mean,
it was an entire few years of additional education that you have to pay for, and you have to take time away from your practice. So that's lost revenue and income and everything, and then to go back and learn all this additional information and sort of relearn the practice of medicine. But the thing is, it's almost like a religious experience. Once you learn to do it in a new way, you can't go back and do it their way. And that was the problem toward the tail end of my practicing GYN. I said, how can I be a GYN and not want to prescribe birth control pills? That's a little bit of a problem.
What a funny point, though.
It was a very interesting paradox, and I just said, I can't do this anymore. I have to full-time practice what I believe in because I can't do the other anymore.
Yeah. But you're doing what you love.
I used to work for the National Mental Health Association. And you talk about pharmaceutical issues and psychotropic drugs and how much physicians don't learn about mental illness or mental issues. It's really horrible. It's really terrible. It's discouraging.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But anyhow, that's not why we're here.
No.
Why are we here?
We're here to get better.
Yay.
We're here to take responsibility for our bodies and what's happening or not happening and fix it.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I really am. I'm excited about taking care of myself, and I'm excited about being a little bit of an evangelist in a nice kind of way. I mean, I'm not going to, stand on people and say you have to believe what I believe, and you have to go through the experience that I've gone through. But I think there's really an opportunity for people to open up about their opportunities to check themselves out and find out if they can't too also feel better. That's being an evangelist in a really kind of benevolent way.
Especially for men, because men have a hard time being out there and researching or opening themselves up publicly to medical issues, right? They don't want to.
Right. I think men have sort of a hidden vanity it's like they're not supposed to. It's like crying. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to be vain. I mean, there's some people that are just naturally vain, and that's good. So, they'll be pretty easily convincible once they get some information and find out about BodyLogicMD and find out what they can do. But there are a lot of people that have hidden that vanity and just given up on their bodies and their abilities and their mental position because they don't know what to do, and they figure that's just not very manly to sort of take care of those things. Women are a lot smarter than men. Put that on.
Amen.
So do you want to get started?
Sure.
Okay.